True love versus distortion love or distorted love. You guys, a lot of people believe that love is creation, that love created all, that God is love and creation is good. So follow me with this. In the heavens, the creator or creation is love, supposedly, okay? And created the angels, created other beings, unsanctioned, non-consensual. But by definition, it's love. And so we assume that it's good. It assumed that it's all good. It's good. They were not created in pain or in agony or in discomfort. They were just created in the parameters, in the roles set forth for them to be in. So they was all obedient. But then there's rebellion. That's when this distortion happened. So rebellion, disobedience, uh, making choices of your own is a distortion of love. So he was cast out. He was not forgiven for disobeying and rebelling. So mutiny was fought, rebellion fought. They fought each other. Lucifer, whoever, whatever ancient, whatever name you want to give it, the opposition, the adversary, lost, supposedly, and was kicked out, or whoever the name was kicked out, basically, due to rebellion, choice. Now, the so-called creation of love created the first humans, the first man, supposed to be man. There's many other stories behind, but I'm just trying to go on the canon doctrine to keep it simple. He created the man, created Adam and Eve. It was still of all good, right? No pain, pure utopia, ecstasy. Everything was provided, food, animals. It was still of good, of just goodness, of just true love or love. This good love. Then the distorted love, the distortion love, opposition, tempt Eve and Adam into eating of the fruit, learning of evil and good themselves. Basically, allowing them to know of free will of choice, which is a distortion. Choosing is a distortion. Having choices is a distortion. Sin is a distortion. Learning of the flesh of desires is a distortion. So, God didn't forgive them either. He cursed them. So I guess forgiveness is a distortion of love. And it was cast out. Sentenced. They were sentenced. Working by the sweat of your brows and bearing children. And that's a distortion. Both of those sentences are distortions. So they were cast out. So they mated with each other, consummated and made more humans of their breeding, of their seed, their lineage. So that is a distortion. Procreation is a distortion of love. Then is Cain and Abel. Cain, both gave sacrifices, a distortion of love, both blood sacrifices of lamb or of cattle and one of fruits. Distortion. Still, the sacrifice is the distortion in itself. So, out of jealousy, because God liked the blood, the savory smell of sacrifice, of blood sacrifice, of Abel. He said, "Oh, okay, so you like sacrifices? Well, here you go, a human sacrifice. I'm gonna unalive my brother, Abel. Sacrifice, another sacrifice, a human sacrifice this time. A distortion of love, sacrifice, blood, distortions of love. God liked it. Then more people being made. They're circulating the distortions of love, sin, the killing, greed, um, you name it, uh, lust, desires, distortions of love. But then Messiah came along. Well, before that, the true love, seek to clean up the mess of all the distorted love. The divinations, distorted love. Is it the divination? Is distorted love. Um, War, distorted love, distortions. So all of it was number distortions. He it tries to clean up all the distortion through the deluge, but they claim that like he loved Noah because of obedience, which is a, a fragment or a remnant of the true love of creation. So that's probably why he kept Noah alive and told him to build an ark. Um, hmm. And to preserve some form of animal life of creation. Because remember, the true love created the animals too, before they were tainted by the distortion or the act of distortion. Wiped everything out, tried to start up again. They stopped birthing, repopulating on the earth, which is that's an act of distortion. Procreation is an act of distortion because it mocks creation, the true love, the creation, the love, which is creation. So procreation mocks creation. But we're trying to give a chance to see what people be of goodness. Still have the same issues occurring, more distortion. Sent his so-called son to we can assume that this Christ or Messiah came from the creator of love, the true love. We can assume that. But this Christ, the so-called Messiah, does things that is still of distortion, like forgiveness. He wants to forgive people. It's of distortion. Want to forgive the sins, distortions. And he sacrificed, distortion. Sacrifices are of a distortion. Those Pharisees and those Sadducees, distortion. Because they're going around getting profit off of sacrifices and blood rituals and all that kind of stuff. Distortion. Because this world has fallen to distortion. Where the few people who actually have the true love, true creation, which is the true love of God. It's love. It's just a distortion version of love. This Christ figure. In some sense, about what he's doing. Let's say it like that. Since the world had fallen to distortion, things had to be done in some form of distortion and love. So Christ had to do things to redeem the distortion of love, the products of distortion, which are the people, the humans. So it forgives and dies for people's sins as a sacrifice. What does Christ do that is considered distortion? Well, healing. Not only does he heal, which is a form of distortion. Moses, all these other beings throughout um, the faith, throughout human history and time, distortion is healing other people. Getting sick is a distortion. All these different things are going on because of a distortion of love. Because remember, when God created, He created with it's supposed to be perfect. They weren't getting sick. They weren't, you didn't have to worry about sickness until after the fact that Adam and Eve fell to the distortion first. The distortion of love. So Christ, you can say that He's not distortion, but He had to operate in as within the lie, truth, life, and the way, because that was the only way to get in this world to redeem humanity and to bring them back, to bring them out of the distortion of love. So He had to follow within the parameters of this realm to reach us, to for us to finally have a way back towards true love, true goodness, to break us free out from distortion. So the average person, some people are going to attach themselves to what they're accustomed to because they have been brought up on some form of distortion. So you have to clear your mind, and that's what Christ called Himself trying to do, is help clear our path to show us the actual path back to true love. Um, Even though He did things within the realms of distortion, by definition. But the whole time He was trying to lead us by example, the ways for us to not only return back to true love, but to return and to stop doing things of distortion. And one of the methods of distortion is mocking the Creator, mocking creation and true love. And how are you marking creation? By procreating. Procreation is distortion. Is distorted love. It's a and Christ cleared us from that sentence. You might as well say distortion is also working. Because before we didn't really have a well you did well I can't say that is working because um, the angels did have tasks, so you could say jobs, but hmm, but it still wasn't like he wasn't getting like money for it. So in a sense, it is kind of like a distortion because Christ did fought for us to be free from both those sentences. So it can be a distortion. But basically, what I'm saying is procreation is a distortion because before they added the fruit, they didn't need. No one needs to make copies of themselves. The Creator, the true love, had created what He needed to create. So Christ led us back, leading us back to the true love by leading the example, by not forcing other beings into existence. basically, by not having a companion, by not having intercourse with anyone. Even though he did things in distortion to help mankind. So is Christ of distortion? That's a good question. I would say that I want to say no, despite of his efforts or the things he had done to redeem us. But it needed to be done to lead us back to the true love, to that realm where there was nothing but goodness and no pain, no suffering. Suffering happened when something rebelled and went against love. Look, true love, that is. So choose true love, not distorted love. Because distorted love leads you to damnation.